Welcome everyone in this new video tutorial about the multiplayer combat editor. In this video we're going to learn how to update your MCE plugin. But this video is a bit particular because it's a bit specific because this is a critical update of the early access and many things are changing, have been changed in the hierarchy and in the naming conventions, and therefore a lot of things might throw errors. And we are also going to override any specific things you might have set up in your settings folder. So basically this is a critical update which is going to remove most of the stuff you customized. Not everything you've done, but what you customized in the example folder and in the MCE folder, MCE plugin folder. So this is only related to early access. The future updates are not going to be critical like this. I hope. We might have some other critical update during early access, but when the project is when MCE is going to hit full release, we are not going to have these kind of updates. So we're going to have another video showcasing how you can update MCE while keeping your stuff alive and all customization you did alive. So how can you, so let's dive right in now. How can you update MCE? Well, it's pretty simple. You can open up your project folder. We don't care about the icons I have. That's just because I'm under version control. So what do you want to do? You want to go to plugins. You want to delete the multiplayer combat editor. Then you want to go to the folder you've downloaded the new version in. So in my case, from each, so in my case, I downloaded that version. I can just copy and paste that in my plugins folder. Then I can go back to my project folder, go to content, then delete examples and graphics, like this. And then this is the folder I've downloaded the graphics and the example content in. So these are just the examples of MCE without the project containing them. I can copy and paste that in my folder. You can only do that if the project is under the same version than the content folder. So in my case, this is 4.18.3 and 4.18.3, like this. So I have updated MCE. I can now start up the project, and it might ask me to recompile the plugin. It doesn't even asking me. If it's asking you to recompile, just say OK. And then open up your project. And once your project is opened up, we might get some errors. So in order to know all the errors, you can go to Windows, Developer Tool, Output Log, and then you have a bunch of errors. At this point, it's not really a problem. We can just fix the errors. So we just have to check the red warning and the associated blueprint class. So we can hit Control P, and it's giving us a window to open up an asset. And in our case, we want the BP slice, for instance, but in your case, it can be BP thrust or whatever. So I'm going to open up that assets. I'm going to pull that in the other window. I'm just going to go back to the output log. I'm going to search for my skill slot. Then I'm going to search for my skill overlay. And then my stat watcher. And then third person character. Like that. And we also want my skill set and my stat watcher. We've already opened them up. And I think that's all. I think that's all. We're just going to go to our BP slice, and we just have to delete this. We just have to drag a wire out of the denotify type, switch on notify event, control drag the wire out of the first effect like this, delete the previous node, hit refresh all nodes. Oh, my bad. Refresh all nodes, so the error there are gone. And then we have another error, which is the make behavior. And that's because I updated how this works, and now skills properly use the action rule you specify in your in your action setup. So if you remember, we were setting how this skill should behave there. You can just delete that. Hit refresh all nodes. And if we go to our third person character, if we go to our init actions, there, primary skill, I was telling you that this was being overridden by the skills by default. Now it is not anymore. And if you go back to your BP slice, you can see that there is a new parameter added to the skill metrics. Does it override the action behavior? If you check that, you'll have to override the make action behavior function and create your own action rules there. That's how you can now override the action behavior within the skill themselves. So now that BP slice is compiled, you can close that up. You can go back to my skill slots, go to graph, and it says that this function doesn't exist anymore. That's because I renamed them, because it was a bit of a mess to understand what they were. So you can override, drag and drop the drop down thing, and just type in get cooldown progress bar. Do that once more and type in get icon image, and then you basically want to do what you were doing in the icon function, in the icon image and progress bar, cooldown progress bar, and you want to get rid of these functions. So we're going to control X that and go there, copy that, delete the icon, do the same thing for the progress bar, like that. It refresh all nodes, and now we don't have any errors. We can close that. Go back to the skill overlay, go to the graph node, and we have a bunch of errors. That's because I changed the way it behaves. We can add a skill slot now, and it's asking in what box, to what panel do we add the skill, to what slot and what category. This is basically the same thing, except we do not have to call add child, so we can just pull that here and pull that here, like that. Delete that and just loop through that, and don't remember to pull the index like this. I basically wrapped up the two functions we were using. We can close that, go back to our stat watcher, go to graph. And in graph, we can just control drag the wires like this and hit refresh all nodes. And this is prompting an error. We can delete that. We can right click, type in update values, grab the event, pull that in, and we can just call the event now like this. And we can also delete these, plug that, and actually call these values there. It should be more understandable. And we can copy and paste that like this. So this is just naming convention that are being changed, and some of the stuff didn't get updated, so we are updating it manually. So the closer we get to full release, the less we'll have to do things like this. It's not a pleasure to do stuff like this, I'm sorry, but that's early access. So we're going to close that, go to our third person, jump to the first errors it gives us. So what happened there? The list of team is contained in our plugin folder, settings folder, and in there we had specified that we wanted other teams, and since we deleted our previous plugins, it removed them from the list we were using there. So we need to right click and refresh that node. We need to drag that wire out of there. We need to right click, refresh. We need to delete that. We need to hit select like that. We need to drag a wire out of the team in the index. And now we need to specify what team we want depending on what team we are. So if we are in the none team, we want to go red. If we are in the red team, we want to go blue. If we are blue, we want to go black. If we are black, we want to go white. And if we are white, we want to go red. And we want to hit compile, hit save. And I think it's going to get rid of all errors. In order to make sure, we're going to close the project and open it up once again. We're going to open up our output log and we're going to see if there are some red errors remaining. I suppose there might be some yellow warnings that we can get rid of as well. So Windows, Developer Tools, Output Log, and we have no errors, so we can close that up, hit play. So we are red. It basically resetted our metrics, our alliances metrics. If I'm hitting plus, I'm going blue, and I can hit the guy. Fair enough. So we have been successfully updating our plugin. So it's going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.